You keep trying to become someone. Someone wiser. Someone freer. Someone awakened. Someone complete. But becoming happens in time, and who you are does not live in time. You are not the movement towards something. You are the stillness everything is moving through. Before you change, you exist. Before you transform, you are here. Before you evolve, awareness is present. Becoming is not wrong. It is simply unnecessary to what you already are. Look closely. When you seek improvement, who is the one trying to improve? When you chase awakening, what is it that is not awake? When you strive to change yourself, who is the self that needs changing? You keep polishing the mirror instead of noticing its nature. The mirror does not become clear because you work on the reflections. It is clear before images appear, and it remains clear even when they distort. You are this clarity, not the reflections. Becoming promises a future version of you. Being dissolves the future and the you who needs it. Becoming says, I am not enough yet. Being says, I am. Nothing more, nothing added. Being does not improve itself. Being does not measure itself. Being does not search for a reason to exist. Being is not earned, it is realized. You are not here to achieve existence. Existence is already here, revealing itself as you. Stop trying to align with reality. You are reality, and alignment is simply the absence of pretending otherwise. When you rest as being, becoming still happens. Growth, learning, change, expression, but none of it defines you. It is movement in the field, not a goal for the person. Becoming becomes expression, not identity. The mind asks, who will I be if I stop becoming? Reality responds, you will be what has always been. No achievement can add to it. No failure can subtract from it. You were not created. You are appearing, not as the body, not as the mind, not as experience, but as the awareness that makes all of those possible. The person is a story in time. Being is the silence behind the story. The person grows, learns, strives, compares, changes. Being does none of this. It simply is. You do not need to destroy the person, or escape the person, or transcend the person. When you recognize being, the person becomes a movement in your presence, not a container for it. You wear it lightly, like clouds moving in a vast sky. For the next 24 hours, whenever the mind tries to become something better, wiser, calmer, more awakened, pause. Do not agree. Do not resist. Do not fix. Just notice. Awareness is already here before becoming. Let the impulse to improve pass through you like wind through open space. Sit, stand, walk, breathe not as someone becoming, but as presence being. Be the sky, not the changing weather. Be the mirror, not the images. Be the being before the becoming. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the presence that makes sound possible. Thoughts do not interrupt silence. They appear in silence and dissolve back into it. Speech does not break silence. Speech is carried by silence the way waves are carried by the ocean. Silence is not empty. It is the space in which fullness speaks. You believe communication is made of words, ideas, expressions, symbols. But the most honest communication is what happens before words appear. Presence speaks. Attention listens. Life understands. Silence is the language of reality. Words are its translation. Notice how you feel in deep presence with someone when no one is performing. No one is trying to impress. No one is trying to be seen. Communication happens without effort. Understanding happens without language. Something in you knows long before your mind explains. Silence reveals truth without thinking. Thought merely comments afterward. Speech is not wrong. It is not the enemy of silence. But when words are divorced from silence, they lose their origin. They become noise, a distraction from knowing. When words arise from silence, they carry the quality of truth. They do not try to convince or argue. They do not try to win or impress. They simply reveal. The power of speech is in the silence behind it. Reality speaks in silence constantly. A falling leaf, a shift in the wind, a face relaxing when defenses drop, an honest glance, the breath you didn't realize you were holding, the warmth in your chest when something is true. You do not need thought to understand. You need awareness to listen. Thought is commentary. Silence is comprehension. Silence is not passive. It is the most active intelligence. You search for wisdom in books, teachers, conversations, but the book only points. The teacher only gestures. The words only echo. Wisdom is not in what is said. It is in the space that hears it. Silence is the listener. It recognizes truth instantly. It doesn't need analysis to confirm. It doesn't need experience to validate. Silence knows truth the moment truth appears, because silence is the medium of truth itself. When you rest as silence, you no longer chase answers, manufacture meaning, or analyze your way into clarity. You listen to reality directly. You hear life without translation. Awareness does not wait for thought to interpret. Awareness knows, not intellectually, intimately. Silence is the intimacy of existence with itself. Today, speak only from silence. Before you respond, pause, not to think, to listen. Not to construct a reply, to feel what the moment is asking for. Let the silence inform your words. Let the words be fewer, simpler, cleaner. Say only what arises naturally from the quiet space inside you. When silence leads, speech becomes truth. Let silence speak first. Words will follow its guidance. Everything changes. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your relationships, your beliefs, your desires. Experience moves like weather. Reality does not. There is a stillness behind every changing moment. Not calmness, not quiet, not peace as a mood. A stillness that does not move, even as everything moves through it. You mistake stillness for a feeling, but feelings shift. Stillness does not. Stillness is not an experience. It is the foundation that allows every experience to appear. The ground does not follow the footsteps. The footsteps only happen because the ground is there. Your shifting thoughts are like footsteps. They come and go. Awareness is the ground unmoving, unchanged. You are not the movement. You are the support in which movement happens. Notice this. You cannot watch change unless you are not changing. To recognize that something is different from before, something in you must be the same as before. If you were changing completely, moment to moment, nothing could be noticed. Awareness must remain unmoved in order to see movement. Stillness is not something you practice. It is what is required for you to witness anything at all. Everything in your life seems unstable because you identified with the movement, not the foundation. You are trying to build identity on changing thoughts, changing feelings, changing relationships, changing conditions. No wonder you feel insecure. You are building a house on waves, but you are not the waves. You are the ocean floor. The waves rise and fall. The floor supports them without effort. Stillness is not opposed to movement. It contains movement. It allows it. The form, the shape, the expression, all of these can change endlessly. The foundation does not ask them to stay. It simply supports them as long as they exist and supports the next wave when it comes. You do not need life to stop changing. You only need to stop building yourself out of what changes. Stillness is your identity. Movement is your experience. Do not confuse the two. Do not search for stillness in your mind or your emotions. They are not still. They are not meant to be still. Let them be waves, active, expressive, temporary. Look where they appear. Look at the space in which thoughts come and go. Thoughts change. Awareness does not. Look at the space where sensations rise and pass. Sensations move. Awareness does not. Look at the space in which life unfolds. Life moves. Awareness does not. Stillness is not found. It is recognized. For the next 24 hours, do not try to calm your mind. Do not try to stop emotions. Do not try to hold on to any state. Instead, whenever something changes, especially when it changes quickly or unexpectedly, notice what doesn't move. Say silently, "Movement happens in me, not to me." Let the experience be a wave. Let awareness remain the ocean floor. Do not chase stillness. Rest as the foundation that is always here. You are not the changing. You are the unmoving in which change is seen. You think you move through time, but time moves through you. Past and future are not places you travel. They are thoughts appearing here, inside awareness. They have no existence outside the moment in which they are remembered or imagined. The past is not behind you. The future is not ahead of you. Both are ideas arising now. Thought gives the illusion of time. Awareness is timeless. Reality is not unfolding through days, months, years. Reality is unfolding as this moment, over and over. Experience changes. The now does not. The now is not a slice of time. It is the field in which time appears. Time is movement of memory and anticipation. Now is the stillness in which those movements take shape. You are not living through time. Time is living through your awareness. Look closely. When you remember the past, where is the memory happening? Here. When you imagine the future, where is the imagination happening? Here. You never leave the present. Only thought travels. Awareness does not move. Time is thought. Thought is movement. Awareness is the timeless space that allows movement to appear. This is why freedom, peace, clarity, and awakening are never in the future. You don't arrive in the now. You stop pretending you are anywhere else. The longing for a better tomorrow is the mind's refusal to recognize that presence is already complete. Awakening is not a destination. It is the end of waiting. Nothing needs to change for the timeless to be recognized. Only the belief that not yet needs to end. The mind asks, how do I live in the present? But presence is not something you live in. It is what you are. You don't enter it. You notice it. You don't maintain it. You let go of distraction. You don't practice the now. You stop imagining you are somewhere else. Presence is not achieved. It is uncovered. The entire struggle of personal evolution is built on the belief that the real you is in the future. The mind promises that happiness is coming. Awareness reveals that happiness is here when you are not chasing it. The mind postpones your life. Awareness offers it immediately. Time keeps you seeking. The timeless ends the search. For the next 48 hours, notice this. Whenever you think about the past, realize that the thinking is happening now. Whenever you anticipate the future, realize that the imagining is happening now. Do not try to stop the thoughts. Simply recognize where they appear. Let your attention shift from the content of the thought to the space in which it arises. Say quietly, only this moment is real. Not to convince yourself, but to notice what has always been true. Do nothing with the now. Let it reveal itself. You are not traveling through time. Time is arising in you. Everything you see, touch, think, and feel is made of nothing. Not physical nothing. Not absence, but the invisible foundation in which all presence arises. Every form is a movement of formlessness. Every object is a gesture of emptiness. Every person is a ripple in the vastness that knows no beginning, no boundary, no identity. You are not something living inside nothingness. You are nothingness appearing as something. Emptiness is not lacking. It is overflowing. It spills into form the way silence spills into sound, not to add meaning, but simply because expression is natural. A tree is nothingness taking shape as bark and leaves. A body is nothingness, moving as breath and bone. Thought is nothingness shimmering as language. Joy is nothingness glowing as sensation. Nothingness is not behind things. It is things. It is their substance, their transparency, their reality. When you look for the essence of form, you find space between atoms, between breaths, between thoughts, between moments of experience. Space is not empty. It is alive with possibility. Everything arises out of it and dissolves back into it. Nothingness does not oppose form. It expresses as form, just as a melody expresses silence without ever leaving it. The person you believe yourself to be is a temporary shape of the formless. Like a wave shaped from the ocean, you inherit motion and individuality, but not separation. The wave is not other than water. You are not other than awareness. Nothingness moves as the person, but the person is not the source. You do not have awareness. You are the awareness that appears temporarily as you. This is not a philosophy. It is a shift in identity. When you identify with form, you believe you must protect yourself. But what can threaten nothingness? When you identify with the story, you fear loss and failure. But what can be lost if you are the space in which everything comes and goes? When you identify with the body, death looks like the end. But nothingness does not end. It only stops appearing as a particular form. Birth is nothingness forming. Death is nothingness unforming. Life is nothingness dancing. How do you live as this nothingness? Not by denying form, not by renouncing life, not by rejecting individuality, but by wearing it lightly. You let the body be the body. You let the mind be the mind. You let the world be the world. You no longer need form to complete you. You recognize that you are the completeness in which form appears. Then existence becomes play, not burden, expression, not defense. Nothingness enjoys being something without mistaking itself for the costume. For the next few days, notice whenever you touch something, feel the space around it. Whenever you see something, notice the emptiness that holds it. Whenever you think, notice the silence between thoughts. Whenever you feel emotion, notice the openness that allows it. Do not try to dissolve form. Let it appear inside the nothingness you are. Say quietly, "This is emptiness showing itself." Not to believe it, but to discover it. You are not a person dissolving into nothing. You are nothingness appearing as a person. Thought is not the source of intelligence. Thought is the expression of intelligence. You do not think in order to know. You think because knowing is already here and it seeks expression. Thought is a tool, a useful instrument, a temporary shape of clarity. But the mind believes it is the origin of clarity. It tries to take ownership of insight, as if intelligence were something it produces. Intelligence does not come from thought. Thought comes from intelligence. Awareness knows before the mind can describe. The description arrives later. You do not think your way into truth. You experience truth. And then the mind arrives afterward to explain, label, comment, translate. Thought is a messenger, not the message. It delivers what awareness has already seen. When you confuse the messenger for the message, you mistake language for reality. Look closely. A sudden insight appears. The mind did not construct it. It arrived whole. You meet someone and instantly sense their authenticity. You did not analyze it. You felt it. You step away from a situation automatically knowing something is wrong. You didn't reason your way there. You recognized it. Intelligence acts before thought forms. Thought only comes to articulate what is already known. Thought is useful when it follows intelligence. It becomes destructive when it tries to lead. When thought tries to lead, it begins to worry, calculate, compare, defend, predict, and control. It loses connection to reality and becomes entangled in its own stories. This is how the mind mistakes itself for the source of clarity. But clarity is not a product. It is perception without interference. Thought can reflect that perception, but it cannot replace it. Trying to think your way into truth is like trying to use a telescope to see your own eyes. The instrument can reveal what's far, but it can't reveal the one who's looking. Awareness is the seer. Thought is only a tool it uses to communicate what has been seen. Clarity belongs to being. Thought is just its language. When the mind understands its place, it becomes effortless, precise, and simple. Not because it is powerful, but because it is no longer pretending to be the source. You don't need to silence thought. You don't need to fight the thinker. You only need to recognize that thinking is an activity, not an identity. Intelligence does not reside in the thinker. It resides in the space where thoughts arise. The more you rest as that space, the more thought becomes an instrument of clarity, not a producer of it. Thought surrendered to awareness is like a flute surrendered to breath. It doesn't create the music. It allows what already wants to be expressed. For the next 48 hours, when thought appears, do not assume it knows. Before believing the thought, pause and notice. Is this thought following intelligence or trying to replace it? Let clarity come first. Then let thought articulate it. Speak only after seeing. Act only after feeling the reality. Use thought as expression, not as guidance. Thought is not the mind's property. It is awareness shaping itself into words. Let the intelligence of being lead. Let thought follow. Love is not a relationship between two. Love is what remains when the illusion of two dissolves. You do not love someone. You recognize yourself where you thought there was someone else. Love is not connection. Connection implies separation first. Love is the absence of separation. You think love is a bridge between individuals, but bridges belong to distance. Where there is no distance, there is no need to connect. Love is not a meeting. It is the realization that there are not two to meet. The seer and the seen are not separate entities. Seeing is one continuous event in reality. Awareness and the object of awareness are not two things. They are the same field appearing as experience. Look closely. When you look at a tree, there is simply the experience of seeing. The separate you who sees and the separate tree being seen are ideas added after the experience. In the moment of pure seeing, there is only seeing. In that seeing, there is no division, no observer, no observed. Seeing itself is the unity. Love is not an emotion. Emotions change. Love is the absence of division. Absence does not change. When the I falls away, even briefly, you feel tenderness. Why? Not because something touched you, but because there was no you to protect. In unity, vulnerability does not exist. There is nothing to defend, nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Love is not safety. It is the end of the one who needs safety. You cannot love someone as an object. Objectification is the root of suffering. You cannot love someone as an identity. Identity is the root of conflict. You can only love when no someone remains on either side. Love is the collapse of the perceiver into perception. Until the boundary dissolves, you are loving a projected idea, not reality. This is why love feels painful. You are trying to keep a boundary alive and dissolve it at the same time. Love ends identity. Identity resists ending. That resistance is not heartbreak, it is ego preservation. Unity disappears the story of love and reveals the reality of it. In unity, there is compassion without sentiment, tenderness without fear, devotion without effort, intimacy without ownership. Love becomes obvious and continuous, not something you do, but something you are. Love is not given or received. Love is recognized, not as emotion, but as the nature of awareness, one seeing itself everywhere. Do not try to love. Do not try to feel loving. Do not search for connection. Instead, notice. Whenever you see another person, tree, animal, object, sound, shift attention from what you see to the seeing itself. Notice the awareness, not the object. Recognize, there are not two here. Let love be the disappearance of separation, not the presence of affection. Love without two is reality returning to itself. You believe you have a body, but you do not have a body. The body appears in the same space you call awareness. You are not inside the body. The body is inside you, not inside the mind, but inside the field of perceiving. The same way a dream character is inside the dreamer. The body is not a possession. It is a formation of the same silence that knows it. Touch your own hand. Where do you feel it? Not in the hand. You feel it in awareness. The sensation does not happen in the skin. It happens in the knowing of the sensation. If awareness were not here, there would be no feeling, no texture, no temperature. The body is not a source of experience. It is an experience, a shape awareness is taking right now. We assume awareness is hidden behind the body, like a witness looking out through the eyes. But the eyes, the witness, and the seeing are all events in awareness. Awareness is not located in the skull. It is not located in the nervous system. It is not located anywhere. Everything located is located within it. The body is not a container for awareness. Awareness is the container for the body. This shift is not philosophical. It is immediate and experiential. Feel the breath. The movement you call breathing is sensation appearing in awareness. The body is not breathing. Breathing is a movement of awareness. Awareness appears as lungs moving, air entering, muscles contracting. Awareness appears as the heartbeat, as warmth, as hunger, as fatigue. There is no body apart from the felt experience, and all felt experience is awareness taking shape. The mind says the body is matter, but where is matter known? In awareness. You never touch matter. You touch sensations. You never see matter. You see colors, shapes, light, all perceived in awareness. Matter is a concept arising inside the perceiving. The body is not matter experiencing consciousness. The body is consciousness experiencing matter. Appearance and perceiving are not two things. Awareness is appearing as form. This recognition changes how you live. You stop trying to control the body as though it were an object separate from you. You stop treating the body like a problem to fix or a project to perfect. You stop fearing illness, aging, and death as though they were attacks on a separate self. The body is not a fragile possession. It is a temporary wave in the ocean of awareness. When the wave changes shape, the ocean does not lose anything. Awareness is untouched by its own expressions. You do not need to transcend the body. You do not need to reject it or glorify it. Let it be what it is, a brief sculpture of presence, a visible touch of the invisible. Then tenderness comes, not sentiment, but reverence. You treat the body with care, not to preserve an identity, but because you recognize it as a sacred gesture being formed and dissolved by reality itself. Respect replaces fear. Adornment replaces anxiety. Curiosity replaces control. The body is not you. It is how you are shining right now. Do not say, my body. Do not think of the body as something you own. Bring awareness to any sensation, breath, heartbeat, warmth, movement. Then notice. This is awareness appearing as sensation, not mentally, experientially. Let the sensation show you its true substance. Feel the body as awareness, not as a possession. Let it be a wave in the infinite. Watch it rise and fall. You are not the wave. You are the water. We fear death only because we believe we are a person. The person ends. Awareness does not. The wave falls. The ocean remains. Death looks frightening only from the perspective of a temporary form trying to continue. But when you are no longer identified with the wave, you see that death is not disappearance. It is release. Release from the burden of individuality, from the obsession with continuation, from the responsibility of being someone in time. Death does not take anything real from you. It returns you to what you have always been. Individuality is a costume worn by awareness. It lets infinity appear as a finite life so that existence can be touched, felt, tasted, experienced. Life is awareness playing as one. Death is awareness returning to all. Life is the adventure of form. Death is the rest of formlessness. Neither are separate. Life is movement of awareness. Death is stillness of awareness. Awareness continues, whether it appears as movement or stillness. The fear of death is not a fear of ending. It is a fear of losing identity. Identity wants to persist. Identity wants to be remembered. Identity wants a future. But identity cannot be remembered forever, and it will never have a future that satisfies it. Death exposes identity as temporary, but not as tragic. Identity was a role, not a self. Awareness is not born, so it cannot die. Roles begin and end. Awareness remains as the stage itself. Death is liberation because individuality is exhausting. You spend your life protecting a name, defending preferences, securing meaning, justifying existence, fearing insignificance. You are constantly defending a story that awareness never needed to tell. Death dissolves the story gently, like a drop of water falling back into the sea. The drop is not lost, it is returned. You do not lose anything real in death. You lose what was never yours to keep. Your history, your image, your role, your psychological masks, your imagined future, your defenses, your striving. You lose the illusion that you were separate. Death does not end your life. It ends your limitation. It frees you from the pressure of being I. It frees you from needing to matter as a form. Awareness does not need continuation. It is continuation itself. So what does this mean for living? When you are no longer afraid to lose individuality, you are no longer trying to maintain it. Life stops being self-preservation. It becomes expression. You stop guarding the character. You start living as the aliveness that animates it. You treat relationships as presence, meeting presence, not person protecting person. You serve truth instead of identity. You act from clarity instead of fear. In death, individuality is released. In life, you can release it early. You do not wait to die to stop pretending. Living is not improved by believing you continue forever. Living is improved by recognizing you were never someone to begin with. Then life is not confined to achievement or legacy. It is a moment-to-moment appearance of awareness, free of the demand to be significant. Death gives you back to yourself. Life can too. When individuality softens, presence shines. When the person is seen as a temporary costume, love becomes unconditional. Creativity becomes effortless. Action becomes pure. You do not cling to experience. You let experience express you. You are not trying to survive. You are trying to reveal. For the next week, notice where individuality is being defended, when you justify your choices, when you protect your identity, when you want to be seen a certain way, when you argue to be right, when you fear being insignificant. Do not fight the ego. Do not reject it. Do not transcend it. Simply recognize. This is the fear of losing a temporary role. Let the role be light in your hands. Let the person come and go like a wave without needing the ocean to guarantee its shape. Identity can continue, but without being you, let death teach you how to live. You are not someone trying to survive. You are awareness playing a form that will be lovingly returned to itself. Death is not loss. It is recognition. You expect reality to feel extraordinary, radiant, intense, luminous, transcendent. You expect awakening to taste like bliss, to look like perfection, to impress you with its clarity. But the real dissolution of the seeker is not monumental. It is shockingly simple. Awakening is not the enhancement of experience. It is the end of searching for enhancement. When seeking disappears, the ordinary is no longer ordinary. It simply is. And is becomes ecstasy. The seeker wants to feel special, expanded, unique, enlightened. But reality is not special. It is universal. It does not limit itself to extraordinary moments. It shines through every moment. The ordinary is not hiding the infinite. It is the infinite, stripped of expectation. Infinity is not a rare event. It is the background of brushing your teeth, boiling water, washing hands, walking across a room. You keep waiting for something more sacred. Reality keeps offering what is already sacred. You overlook it by trying to elevate it. Seeking needs intensity. Presence does not. Seeking wants results. Presence doesn't want anything. Seeking chases transformation. Presence stops needing to become. Seeking thrives in comparison, in evaluation, in the search for meaning and breakthrough. Presence dissolves all that by being exactly what it is, without effort. When you stop seeking, you don't become passive. You become available, not to spiritual performance, but to life itself. You do not withdraw from experience. You stop manipulating it. You do not renounce desire. You stop using desire to become someone. You do not eliminate thought. You stop waiting for it to reveal truth. You do not remove emotion. You stop demanding happiness from it. Everything becomes simple because you are no longer trying to get anything from life. The ordinary is not a stepping stone. It is the destination. And when you no longer need the ordinary to be extraordinary, it becomes unspeakably beautiful.